I'm going to talk about a thumbnail trick that most creators miss, and it's called the what if trick. It's one of the best ways to come up with a viral thumbnail. Now, for context, I've worked with some of the biggest creators in the world, and I do this every single day, and it works really, really well. So the big issue here is that YouTubers don't have a plan when they start making thumbnails, okay? They just kind of haphazardly make thumbnails and hope for the best when they upload the video. Or they think making a great thumbnail is all about the design, right? Getting a great Photoshop piece of art is the secret to a strong thumbnail. Well, the answer is it's neither of those things, and you should focus on another thing instead, which is using this simple rule to come up with great thumbnails. So to show you, I'll show you this thumbnail idea I came up with. I didn't design this. I'm not a designer. I came up with this concept, and it was for this video for KSI called Extreme $25,000 Would You Rather, right? Where you have to choose between two things. Would you rather sit in a bathtub full of snakes or sit in a cage full of tarantulas? Okay, and so this thumbnail I really like. I think it's a pretty good thumbnail. It's clear, it's simple, it conveys danger. And so how did I come up with this? Well, all I did is I used the what if rule. And the what if rule is a way of thinking to come up with thumbnails that are really, really good. And so you ask yourself, what if I did XYZ? And to show you, we have two thumbnails here. And so the question I asked myself here was, what if I take the composition of this Ryan Trahan like viral series, and then I combine it with the concept of this air rack thumbnail? So this air rack thumbnail, in case you can't tell, it's a split panel down the middle. You have something on the left side, and then you have something on the right side. Two different things. So you have a really nice hotel here, and then you have this dump, this garbage on the right. Okay, and so that what if question allowed me to come up with this thumbnail here. We have KSI lying down on the ground, and then we have a split panel, if you can tell, a split panel where we have two different punishments on each side. We have the snakes on one side, and then we have the spiders on the other side. And just like that, I came up with a thumbnail that was super fresh. Like nobody else has done a thumbnail like this. And what's interesting is this way of thinking is super important because it starts creativity first. A lot of people think about optimization. Let me just optimize. But before optimization, you want to be creative. You want to give yourself a lot of options. So the way to think about it is you want to go wide before you go deep. And if that doesn't make sense, I'll explain it a bit better. You want to be creative and come up with a lot of different options. What if I did this for the thumbnail? What if I did this? What if I did this? And then once you find one that you like, you go deep on it. That's when you optimize. So going sideways with is creativity, and then going up is optimization. And so that's what we did. We did the what if formula to come up with this concept, right? This concept over here. And then we started optimizing. So I wanted to make sure that each side was clearly distinct, okay? So if I had used grass on both sides, it wouldn't be as clear half and half thumbnail the way the Airac one was. Now, granted, I don't think the Airac one was actually that clear, to be honest. They kind of blend in together. And so I think we did a better job here. We did grass on one side, and then we did sand on the other side. So two different types of like ground material, and there's clear contrast there. You have the yellow versus the green, and then the subjects, we wanted them to stand out. So we messed around with a couple different colors, searched up different types of snakes and spiders, and we came up with these blue snakes and these orange spiders. And the colors we chose weren't accidental, by the way. There's a concept in color theory where if you choose colors that are on opposite sides, they pop the most. They have the most contrast. And so if you look, the sand is yellow. So let's go yellow over here. And the snakes are blue. Look, they're directly opposite each other. So they have great contrast. And for the green here, the grass is green. The tarantulas are orange. Now, the reason we didn't go pink to get the direct contrast here is because I thought that was going to be just a bit too fake, and realism in thumbnails is very important. If you make a fake looking thumbnail that's unbelievable, people won't click. And so we went for orange, which was still kind of separated, but it wasn't so much that it was kind of crazy. And so it still had some good pop. So as you can see, it still pops on the green despite not being across. And so this is something I encourage you to try out. Ask yourself, what if I combined this with that? What if I took this with that? That's all that creativity is. Creativity is taking things that existed already, combining them, and creating something brand new. So if you feel bad, you're like, I'm taking Ryan Trahan's thumbnail, or I'm taking Airac's thumbnail. No, this is how creativity works. You take things that exist and you combine them, and by combining them, you build something brand new, and a lot of the times even better. I call this Picasso ideation because Picasso once said, good artists copy, great artists steal. And if I need to define this for you, I will. But basically, if you were to just copy, if you were to be a good artist, you would just copy this thumbnail exactly. And if you were around when Ryan made this thumbnail, then you probably saw a lot of creators just copying it one for one. Like Ryan Trahan, they would put themselves where Ryan was and then somebody else where Mr. Beast was, and boom, they call it a day. They would copy, and that's bad. Stealing, when Picasso talks about it, is taking an element from this, another element from something else, another element from something else, and then you combine them to create something brand new and fresh, and oftentimes even better. That's Picasso ideation, and it works for ideas, thumbnails, it works for literally everything, and it's OP. This is a system for being creative, and that shouldn't even make sense. Creativity is not systematized. It's not something you can just do when you want, but it actually is. So try this out. It'll change the game for you.